They sick of this Unapologetically Angel podcast. Now, the numbers from the podcast shows that fans are sick of it. Once again, I can't make this up. I'm showing y'all right now. She might need to get Casanat to come on to say this.
When I looked at the number of views on Angel Reese's most recent podcast episodes, I was very astounded. We're talking about episodes that barely made it to 70 views. One episode with Jada Cheeves and Des Dior only managed to garner 66 views, which is not a mistake. And the subject was a dramatic shift from athletics to an hour-long discussion about dating affluent guys. This was a surprising decline for someone who was previously one of the most talked about figures in women's sports. The only people left wondering if they had clicked on the wrong show were Angel's core basketball fan group.
Angel Reese's latest podcast decision has left her listeners disappointed, primarily due to her choice of guest. Yeah, I think a lot of people were like, who cares about these people? Honestly.
Fans who had been disappointed by the content now began to doubt her character. It was no longer just a content issue, it was now a trust issue, suddenly. The comparisons to Caitlin Clark's disciplined and wildly successful offseason began to roll in, creating an even more stark contrast. What had begun as a noticeable drop in viewership swiftly turned into a full-on disaster when Reese clapped back at critics by telling them to shut the F up.
From hosting fellow athletes like Dejanay Carrington, Skylar Diggins-Smith, and basketball legend Lisa Leslie, to musicians like Sexy Red, Glorilla, and more, the Sky Forward received positive feedback from listeners and viewers. However, the most recent episode received mixed reviews.
Angel's decision to include Jadachi and Des Dior, a couple more well-known for their celebrity drama and Instagram influence than anything sports-related, was a sharp departure from what viewers had anticipated. Her show had gained a following through insightful basketball content and engaging discussions with other athletes. But this episode felt more like a prolonged reality TV audition, with constant discussion about dating norms and no reference to the fact that basketball fans who came for hoop talk received an unexpected lesson on luxury dating preferences.
Reese's podcast featured reality stars Jada Cheeves and Des Doria? I don't know. I don't even care. Who discussed their experiences on season 1 of BET's The Impact Atlanta, as well as their candid views on online criticism, dating, and career.
It was more focused on pursuing clout than building a meaningful platform, and it wasn't just dull. It seemed like a bait and switch. This wasn't the gritty, passionate Angel Reese they had followed during her time at LSU. One follower said, "I feel like she's forgetting why we started supporting her," while another said, "This isn't it. I came for basketball, not love and hip-hop. The damage was real, and the fans weren't afraid to leave."
Their quote issue regarding relationships. As for Reese, she mentioned men's insecurities when it comes to women earning a higher income than their partners. Is that still a thing? That still bothers people? Okay. Quote, "A lot of men don't also like women." My God, the grammar. What the bleep? A lot of men don't also like women that got their own. My God, folks. You read quotes from her, your IQ points just melt away.
Fans felt as though they were witnessing one of their favorite players abandon the game that made her famous. And this podcast blunder brought to light how estranged Reese had become from her base. She thought her audience would follow suit, but instead they saw a player more interested in influencer vibes than her roots as a trailblazing hooper.
Following the interview, fans expressed their dismay over the responses they gave about money and relationships, feeling it overshadowed other important topics. Quote, they said a lot of nothing. The responses are dumb.
And the figures are harsh. We're talking about a podcast that, at one point, had the full support of Shaquille O'Neal's large podcast network, excellent production, a list guest, and significant reach. However, the show is currently receiving fewer than 70 views on some episodes, and the worst part is that this wasn't an anomaly. Rather, it was a trend. The buzz that surrounded Angel's podcast was replaced by awkward silence and a large number of unsubscribes.
Another person added, quote, this is like the one podcast where 3 kids judge food they haven't eaten, laugh out loud. The same goes for a commenter who said, losing brain cells listening to this podcast. I just said IQ points were literally melting away from my brain pan as we speak.
In the era of viral content and short attention spans, losing your own fan base is one thing. But seeing your ride or die basketball supporters completely lose interest in you is quite another. Those who once cheered her on at every turn were now using her comment section to inquire about the whereabouts of the player they once admired.
Angel, all these women out here doing phenomenal things, but you choose rappers' girlfriends to interview just really throws me. That's a hell of a good comment.
The contrast is almost painful to watch as Caitlin Clark continues to rise, dropping videos that garner millions of views and packing arenas everywhere she goes. Reese should have been right there with her, an ambassador for women's basketball and a symbol of its new era. But instead, she's left explaining why hardly anyone is watching anymore. The fall wasn't abrupt. Rather, it was a gradual erosion of trust that culminated in a tone deaf episode that will probably be studied for years to learn how not to change your brand, because once your fans feel ignored, they quickly disappear.
We have to pull up her podcast, man, because y'all might think I'm lying. I am not lying. This is not clickbait at all, guys. So as we pull up the Unapologetically Angel podcast, I mean, hell, she just released the episode 10 minutes ago. It got 66 views. This one right here got 781.
We're talking about a well-known WNBA player with massive media attention, major brand deals, and a built-in following from her college career. And yet her own audience couldn't be bothered to hit play. Angel Reese's podcast has officially reached its lowest point ever. Her show couldn't even reach 5,000 views in a single week.
People ain't feeling them, bruh. I mean, damn. I mean, Angel Reese haven't got over 5,000 views in over a week, dog.
Her analytics looked like a block shot that never left the paint. At one point, she had a steady, if modest, base of devoted listeners, but almost overnight, everything vanished. The timing wasn't subtle either. The moment she released that now infamous episode full of tone-deaf commentary and reality TV fluff, the bottom dropped out. What's worse is how quickly it happened.
And it seemed like everything went downhill after this interview, bruh. I can't even lie. But it's looking like it's been going downhill since before this damn interview. I can't even lie to you. It's looking like Kennedy Carter might be, DJ Nat Carrington might be her biggest view.
Her viewership dropped by over 90% almost overnight, according to analysts. That's unheard of. Imagine building a platform over months of planning, booking guests, and promoting your brand, only to have almost all of your audience abandon ship. In a matter of days, it wasn't just apathy, though. Fans were publicly distancing themselves from her, unfollowing her, and unsubscribing.
If you're going in terms of breaking it up, but damn, dog, it ain't looking good for Angel, bruh. Now, I just wanted to show y'all the numbers, to show y'all I wasn't clickbaiting or picking on Angel.
All the resources in the world can't fix a creator's disconnect from their core audience. And that's what this really comes down to. Angel misinterpreted what her fans wanted. Even Shaquille O'Neal's large podcast network, Slick Editing, and high-end production value weren't enough to save the show.
She's had a lot of like rappers and these what I call D-list celebrities, which is the reality TV show. That's a D-list celebrity. They're not an actual celebrity, really and truly. It's not like they won American Idol, right?
Numbers speak for themselves. Her audience wanted basketball behind-the-scenes glimpses. And the real Angel Reese, who earned their respect on the court. What they got felt like a complete betrayal of that identity. They didn't want pop culture, gossip, glamorized dating rants, or celebrity guest appearances with nothing to say.
A social media user left a harsh comment, wrote the least informative podcast on earth. Yikes.
Then, rather than listening to her fans, Angel threw a grenade against her own credibility. When viewers expressed their frustration, she didn't address the issue, offer an explanation, or make any changes. Instead, she responded on Twitter with, "The now famous shut the F up." Those four words caused a complete PR breakdown from an already poor appearance.
Instead, she took the X and pretty much let the fans know how she was feeling. Let's pull up the tweet right now. This is the tweet right here. Angel Reese stated, "This is my podcast. Shut the F up. You don't watch. Thank you."
Consider this. She had every chance to change course and politely accept the criticism. She could have even promised more basketball-focused content and said she was trying something new. This would have been easy damage control, but instead, she fueled the flames hours before the media began reporting on her podcast's poor performance. She sent out a defiant tweet, solidifying one of the most self-inflicted embarrassments in women's sports media history.
Check out the comments. This one stated, "You scrapped the baby." This one too. So fans is definitely still bringing up that DaBaby interview, which that one never came out. She received harsh criticism from her fan base for that specific interview as well.
Her social media accounts abruptly turned into battlegrounds. "We are the shareholders of your content, so if you can't handle the heat, get off the mic." That's not trolling. It's pain from a community that once believed in her. Longtime supporters were publicly questioning her goals and attitude.
How can she get good guests on her podcast? That's another thing. I mean, a lot of these WNBA players have come on there, but I mean, you got to wonder how many of them are actually really in demand, right?
And like clockwork, the Caitlin Clark comparison started pouring in. Fans commented that even though Clark hasn't started a podcast yet, he seems to understand audience connection better than Angel. They said that if Clark ever decided to start a podcast, it would do better than Angel's just because he knows how to talk to people without alienating them. It got worse. Fans started offering Angel actual guest lists, pleading with her to interview influential women in business, coaching, sports, or leadership, but instead they got talking points from TikTok and Instagram influencers.
I don't understand. What is the value of bringing rappers' girlfriends on to have a conversation with them? I mean, that one person's right. Why would you not want to platform people that has something meaningful to talk about? This person said, why not platform other successful women that's actually done some things? Not a bad question.
A single meeting with a PR consultant would have instructed her to thank her fans, explain the experiment, and change the content accordingly. But instead, she chose to burn the bridge with a blow to. The rumors began to circulate, and people in the content space began to wonder if Angel really intended to continue her basketball journey, or if she was more focused on influencer clout. One content creator summed up the sentiment, saying she's not locked in on hoops, she's chasing. red carpet flashes, and viral moments.
You two go subscribe at your own damn peril at this point. I mean, that's saying something when, look, you got to go seek out her podcast on an app, then subscribe to it, decide you want to listen to it, and then you've made it this far, and you're like, nah, I'm tapping out of this horse shit. It's terrible.
The real harm here isn't to her podcast performance, but rather to her brand. When athletes lose the audience's faith, the repercussions extend well beyond the number of views. When spectators begin jeering instead of applauding, it has a cascading effect that causes companies to pay attention, sponsors to hesitate, and teammates to notice. This whole story has turned into a warning and a masterclass in how not to run your platform. Keep in mind that this was not a rookie error made by someone without assistance. Rather, it was a professionally supported media product introduced by a well-known brand under Shaquille O'Neal's media empire. However, it all fell apart because Angel forgot the one thing that initially made her famous: the people. Who made her famous?
Is the shtick for Angel Reese, is it starting to wear thin? Is the faucet of Angel Reese's celebrity starting to slowly slow down? Question mark. You got to wonder.